So I'm just here to tell people or to remind people that revolutions eat their own children. Now that the church is the one which thrusted, which propelled William Ruto's presidency, the Kenya Kwanza regime, it's the one which was seen as the one which was behind his success or his run for the highest political office. Then it goes without saying that they will be the first to be demolished. They are going to be the ones, so that they cannot repeat the same strategy with another candidate or another political movement or another political ideology. So you have to the kingmaker has to be destroyed every other time. So there you are as religious leaders propping up failed regimes, successive failed regimes. They propped up. It's almost like the Mount Kenya community, the ones who propelled Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency to sycophantic levels never seen, because they not only gave him their votes, because once you vote for somebody, you are not compelled, you're not obligated to then rubber stamp all their lunacy all the time. But these guys kept dying for this guy, even when he was doing the exact opposite, even when his interventions were at cross paths with their economic stability, where he inflicted economic genocide in the Mount Kenya region, and well, basically the rest of the country, but that region to be precise, because he knew for him to continue propagating his depravity and mental impotence, then he had to economically suppress these people with energy, I don't know, fertilizer, everything that he was doing was initially they were the primary victims. So I'm here to talk to religious leaders in their infinite stupidity. When you're there and then you're there saying, oh, the alcohol is bad, bars must be closed, oh, immorality, you're becoming an extension of a failed regime, a rogue regime. You're almost like their mouthpieces. You're an extension. We don't know. We don't see the difference between government. You no longer speak up against corruption, bad governance. You stop doing what you are primarily meant to do. Now you are money hungry self seekers. We see you every day. It's just your language is now, your currency is now money all the time. So you've just seen what 1 week can do. 1 week of synchronized, choreographed campaigns using the Githeri media. And by the way, everyone seems to have been affected except Githeri media. So who then who will who will check the checkers? Because Githeri media they are the most toxic, they're the most vile, narcissistic, next to religious leaders, next to politicians. They're the guys we need to clip. They're the guys we need to shut down is the media, because all of these could not have been facilitated without the able assistance, without without the able participation of mainstream media. They were there. They are being taken to the sites, and then they are on top of this story as if there are no other stories to cover this. Even them, they stop talking about corruption, bad governance. They become also gatekeepers of corruption. So, so religious leaders, in your infinite stupidity, you saw what 1 week of choreographed media headlines can do to your church. So, I would advise you next time, just concentrate on your core business. Guide people through their spiritual healing and journeys and whatever. Stop getting yourself intertwined in the corrupt political establishment that you're now in these people's functions. You're there, you're even endorsing them without any honor or shame. Hamna adabu nyinyi watu wa kanisa, hamna adabu, mmekosa mwelekeo. Unasimama hapo unasema mimi na support huyu na support, and you know very well that this is a corrupt bastard that you're supporting, that you're endorsing. So church leaders, mumejionea vile kunaendanga kananukanga within a split second. So Orengo told you, but I'm not, by the way, I'm not speaking in good context for Orengo. Siaya people are complaining about him, but he said something when he was in the Senate. He said that revolutions eat their own children. So you are now, it's your turn now. So that bado mtalipa, bado amjalipa, mtalipa you've been there, you're talking anything that you see going well for people, you are the first ones to criticize. At the war on alcohol, you are there at the forefront, because you imagine when the bars are closed, then the money will come to the churches. It doesn't work like that. I used to leave the bar I used to leave the bar and go straight to church and donate well. But the moment when I saw the religious leaders becoming a camaraderie with between Uhuru and the religious leaders, and then Wabukala has been appointed. What? That's when I knew now this is a here there is something. This is an unholy alliance between religion and the political establishment. So it's your turn. And then finally, to the propagandists who concocted this story, I told you, once you come up with a narrative in your heads, eh, how people react is not dependent on, you're not in control of the reaction. Yeah, you can push a story, because I saw there's this other TikToker who does a young Muzungu guy. Then he was pushing it, and that story is almost like 5 million, 10 million views. Yeah. And then there's now this other woman who is wearing, pretending to be Virgin Mary. She says she gets, and then her, she's pushing from the Kenya context. And this is severely damaging brand Kenya internationally. So while you're perpetrating these media PR shenanigans for political expediency, to divert or to distract collective attention from your corruption, from the fact that you haven't delivered anything within the 100 days that you promised, whatever you promised, from the fact that you're doing all sorts of smoke screens to distract our attention. Uh, Once it gets on TikTok and all these other platforms, then it is twisted. The context is engineered, or it is interpreted in different ways. So now we have Kenya on the international limelight for all the wrong reasons, just because a bunch of propagandists thought it was a good idea. Hey, let's run with this story. But now the impact, the adverse effect of your propagandists, of your front pages in the newspaper, the effect is now going to hurt Kenya even more. So while you thought it was a good idea to run with that story or to push it because it looked choreographed, because on the same day you're finding news headlines, and then Itumbi has a history of the cult, and then who, and then so everything is choreographed, but you don't understand the devastating effect, the carnage that you will leave on our economy, because now everyone, even our tourism, is being interpreted from that context. So before you engineer something, just know that you're not in control of the reaction. You will just deliver there, and people will react as if and as they so wish. And that was just a very toxic week. I feel drained just listening to all the rubbish from people pretending suddenly they are experts about cults and whatever. So what do you have for the next? Can you prepare us, you useless pieces of shit? Can you prepare us, you government propagandists? Can you prepare? Tell us what you are going to throw at us next week and the other weeks for 4 weeks, so that we can prepare ourselves. Because you can't just be throwing every week. There's something you've planned just to distract attention, and then you foist this agenda. The other week it was Millicent Omanga, the other week it was who, the other week it was LGB, I don't know who. Every week there's something. So can you give us a timetable, give us a schedule? You say this, next week we are going to focus this, so that we can be well prepared. But now the trauma that you're inflicting, the collective, you guys are on the edge because of this. I was at a function and people are just talking about this Mackenzie story, and then there are these old people who grab things, and they I don't understand what value you are deriving from seeing, from inflicting all these constant state of rage amongst the population. I don't know how it benefits you. I don't know what political value it gives failed regimes like Kenya Kwisha, but it's happening. Yeah, but even in the midst, I think the biggest awakening right now is knowing that all of this is scripted, all of this is choreographed. You have a timetable, you have a schedule, you know with the media how you're going to weaponize them, so that as you're giving us these toxic, polarizing stories, then in the middle there you're just doing your tribal appointments. There's just things relating to governance and the economy which are being swept under the carpet, because we know, we can see that. I think the biggest revelation now, so you just need to do three more, hatchet jobs, and your deal will be sealed. Now the public will be now aware of your shenanigans, of whatever you do to engineer mass mass anger we are aware